maybe I just shouldn't, like, do another race because it's me that's doing it. I'm interfering with someone in the lobby.
I can't be sure. Well, welcome back. If you are joining us, you must be the hardiest of hardy SAF1 fans if you've managed to stick with us this long. I hope you have. We're about to be underway in our French Grand Prix, and just fingers crossed that the stream holds this time out. We've got Matrav on pole from Phantom and Neil, then Kimi, Quentin, Rai, Not Shumi, Duxter, Calvin, Hamrick, Vino, Dom Rabico, Royal Viking, Tiago, Fudge, Xander, Matty and Simps, who did not qualify in our qualifying session, but has managed to join the race late on. This is Webbo. With me is Tim in the commentary box, for now at least. And hopefully we can iron out these problems.
So Don Rabico and Royal Viking, they had a little bit of an incident there, so they have been disqualified from the formation lap, but that is only the formation lap. There you see the two cars on the grid, so they will be a-okay for the race unless they have another collision, in which case that's kind of up to whether the car wants to stay intact.
Well, the grid has assembled. This is SAF1's round 5 of the season, our last round before the Christmas break, and we will be back underway mid-January. But hopefully we're about to get underway with everybody readying up, just waiting on Simps now, I believe. Hopefully we'll be here, and do say hello on the stream if you're joining us. But like I say, we're hoping for a strong French Grand Prix. Just waiting on the players, and I'm going to need to sort out my camera very quickly because it's not ready. So apologies if it's a slightly clunky beginning to the race from the stream's perspective. I think the problem is Simps rather than you, Tim.
Definitely a problem regardless, and I'd say that it is frustrating and just, weird as it is for us up here in the booth.
Here we go. We're about to get going. Matrav on the inside on the way to the first corner. It's lights out and away we go with a good start from Matrav. Good start from Phantom with Neil going wide, but it looks like Kimi up one place. Rai around the outside of the McLaren. The Williams car starting to mug that McLaren, who's had a really terrible start, but the challenge for P3 underway with Kimi defending from Rai, and they're going 2 or 3 wide into the fourth corner, as now the Williams, the Alpine up the inside of the McLaren, and the Aston Martin has made up several places. Not Shumi, Duxter up to 8th place, Calvin down to 9th, and Rabico in 10th place with a good start. But Matrav with a 4/10 of a second gap to Phantom, and then 3/10 back is Kimi. Tim, what did you see further back?
And Hamrick, he made up 5 spots just going into turns 1 and 2. Went from 10th to the 5th position. Now he's on the back of Rai in that Haas car. So the Williams driver making big gains on the first lap, while his teammate of Calvin stuck back there in the 8th position. Hamrick and Calvin both on those soft tires. They should have relatively close speed to one another. And Hamrick looking on the inside of the Williams, but has to back out of it. No way he was going to be able to make that move there. But he thought about it just as long as there was a door open. But unfortunately for him, it was not. Rai trying to defend, but I think that it's all going to be all for naught here, as Hamrick is going to be able to find a way around this Haas car sooner rather than later. He is the highest running driver on the soft compound tire, so at least for the first couple of laps, he should have a decent amount of speed, but we need to keep an eye on him and see just how quickly those tires degrade.
That's right. We are away. Could you invite Quentin, please, back to the race? His whole screen went blank, unfortunately. He's looking for a re-invite back in, Tim. We're back into lap 2 then. The big gainer was Hamrick. The big loser was Neil. But Matrav, with a 3/4 of a second advantage over Phantom, is now driving away from this group, as Phantom staring in those mirrors, trying to defend from Kimi right, and the cars are starting to queue up behind him, led by Hamrick on the soft tyres, and the 4 drivers on softs from 5th downwards will have a good load of speed right now, a good lot of grip, and looking to try and make hay while the sun shines out there on the Paul Ricard circuit, and while their soft tyres still have plenty of life in them. I think Kimi is looking the man most likely as they go down the second batch of the Mistral straight into Sanya. Kimi on the outside looking to cut back towards the inside into Debose, but it's not quite there. Hamrick can't get by either, and he's just desperately waiting for that DRS to come into effect for him.
Yeah, and Hamrick still hanging on there in the 5th position, but now not Schumi getting really close to the back of that Williams car. Meanwhile, for the back, it looks like Sander, he's got a little bit of a problem there in that Mercedes in the 17th position, dropped way, way back. So now let's take a look here at Don Ravico, because he is in the 10th place battling with his teammate of DRS Neil, very close in that final corner, but was able to avoid contact there, and it's starting to look like a nice train of cars down the front straightaway.
Yeah, just watching as Hamrick got by Not Schumi, and then Duxter tried to get a twofer past Not Schumi into the final corner, and there was a significant clatter on the right side pod on the Aston Martin, and I wonder if he will have picked up some damage as a result of that. Matrav has got that magic 1 second gap from P2 and can now start driving to that gap as Not Schumi all over the road as they approach the Mistral straight for the 3rd time. Kimi in 3rd place, quite close behind Phantom, but it looks like Not Schumi, the man most likely to have a go into Chicane du Nord. It's not quite there with a DRS train, right back from 2nd all the way down, I think, to 10th place, all with DRS.
And those DRS trains, they can really break your race. It's very unfortunate. You can break them some way, but it is very difficult because everyone has got DRS around you, but Calvin Racing, he is stuck hard in a battle with Duxter just ahead of him for the 7th position and still can't find a way around him. So Alpine versus the Williams, but of course, like you said, this is that DRS train, so the only chance that Calvin is going to have to get around Duxter, unless he can just somehow get a better exit out of one particular corner than Duxter does, is these DRS straightaways. But when you're locked into that train, then everyone's got DRS, you just cannot move. It's like you're stuck behind a beach ball. You can't move anywhere.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, and it's a nightmare scenario for the soft runners here. Or it looks like Not Schumi trying to go around the outside. Wow, of Hamrick sweeps across the front wing. They just about avoid contact, and Not Schumi would now be the one defending as he's dropped back from Rai. So Schumi needing to put the hammer down and try and get back on terms with Rai's car. Rai behind Kimi, who is closing on 2nd place, and Matrav starting to check out here, Tim.
Oh, and there was a little bit of a bump and run, I think, with Calvin and Duxter. Normally, I'm used to seeing that over, and Calvin goes way wide off the track, though, down the Mistral straight, trying to give room to Duxter. Duxter ultimately does get the position back from Calvin, and now Calvin loses another position, this time to DRS Neil. So Calvin back down to the 9th position now, and he's at jeopardy of losing another position yet again to Don Ravico, but Calvin got a better exit out of the chicane than Don Ravico did. That might be his saving grace. And it looks like there's a car slow. That is
Problem
Kimi.
for Kimi.
So Kimi is slow.
Yeah, he was slow out of Chicane du Nord. I think he may have a puncture or an issue on the car. He's picked up a penalty, certainly. The car looking a little bit loose, but as Rai got past him up ahead of the battle we were watching, Kimi suddenly slowed, and I wonder if there's some distinct damage. He's got a 10-second penalty as well to pay, so I'm not quite sure what went down with Kimi and Rai, but Rai managing to get one over. Duxter's pitted on lap 3 on the softs, and I wonder about that one, whether it's a move onto the hard tyres. The hards do seem to work around here if you can avoid a restart, Tim.
And we'll just see which strategy is the better strategy, but I do think that we're going to see a lot of medium to hard runners just because of how quickly those soft tires will degrade. Of course, if you qualified on the soft tires, you have no choice but to start on them, and you can have an added benefit for a handful of laps. But where most tracks you're going to see an average of 10 laps, give or take, that the soft tires are going to last, you're going to see it closer to 5 today.
Yeah. I affirm that. I think Quentin might still need invites. Unfortunately, Tim, he's getting a refusal from PSN to connect at the moment. Hopefully, we can get our server owner back in, as his AI is currently in 14th place, and hopefully he can see out at least 20 of these remaining laps, these remaining 22 laps, as we progress through the first phase of this race. I don't think the soft runners are really making the kind of headway they need to on their plan A strategy. Rai is right behind Phantom, but not Schumi and Hamrick. 2.5 seconds back from the top 3, and we'll need to start doing something different in order to get a better result out of this. Quite the train happening from 5th place back. That's Hamrick, Neil, Calvin, Don Rabico. Kimi has left the session and retired, so a bit of a problem going on for Kimi, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure what befell Kimi, but a 10-second penalty, potential damage on the car. I'm sure he's not got much of an appetite to see the race to the finish, despite the fact that each driver gets 2 bonus points for finishing the race.
And sometimes you really just can't blame a driver for wanting to, pull in and call it a quits. I mean, sometimes this can be very stressful. This is, these drivers, they will prepare, they will practice, they'll do the best that they can to try to get the best starting position, the best finishing position. And sometimes when it just blows up in your face, the best thing you can do is just walk away and go do something else and come back the next week rested and refreshed.
And of course, if you are going to retire, you do it the right and honourable way by going into the pits first. It looks, are we possibly seeing Quentin having rejoined? I hope so. I'll join him shortly, but it looks like Rai challenging for 2nd place here. Equal tyres between Rai and Phantom, and he's just 1/10 back from the Ferrari. We'll see what he can do from here. I do think we're having some connection issues for the drivers, and they're needing to give each other a wide berth when making passes. It's cars not really behaving smoothly on track, and that could be some of these server errors that we're receiving tonight, unfortunately. So apologies if it's affecting your viewing enjoyment. We're doing the very best that we can, and the drivers, of course, trying no less hard and fighting hammer and nail. Of course, Rai with the DRS down the start-finish straight. Can't get it done there. Neil with the fastest lap in 4th place, having profited from everyone else's pit stops. And we've got no one gone on to fresh hards, but we have cars having started on hards. Matty, Tiago and Viking, who are using that hardest compound tyre.
And yeah, Tiago Maestro and Matty, I'm watching those 2 drivers actually battle it out on track at the moment. And Matty so far doing a good job at holding off the Ferrari driver. But the Ferrari driver, he's got a few moments of greatness to where it seems like he's going to be able to gain on Matty. And then somehow Matty just gets a better exit out of these corners. So Tiago Maestro, his strength is definitely entry onto the corners, where Matty, he is a lot better on the exit. And I think that Matty might have just a tick more of overall pace. But DRS is no match for raw pace, as Tiago Maestro is going to go around the Red Bull driver, make it look easy, clears him before the chicane, move Tiago Maestro up into the 7th position.
Yeah, almost a repeat of the battle we saw moments before that we saw Calvin getting passed by Don Rabico into the Chicane du Nord as well. So it definitely pays dividends to be patient and wait for that DRS on the Mistral straight to try and remain as close as possible to the car in front through the rest of the lap. Matty now just 3/10 back from Tiago as they finish out this lap. Looks like Calvin pitting, jumping in front of the other drivers temporarily. 6 laps on the soft tyre. Not as far as I've seen some drivers make it. I've seen 8 laps on softs at the start, but yeah, it looks like we're getting slightly higher tyre wear than the drivers might be expecting here tonight.
Yeah, and like I said, though, in qualifying, that you might be able to extend those soft tires to about lap 6 or lap 7. You saw Calvin, he did 6 laps on those soft tires. But any more than that, and he would definitely have been hurting his race. So maybe Calvin has been able to time it just right. Maybe he stayed out there a little bit too long. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But Calvin Racing rejoining this race in the 11th position, just behind Fudge there in 10th in the Alfa Romeo. Currently watching Rai battle hard with Phantom up there for the 2nd position. And Rai, he might actually be able to get around the Ferrari driver. Phantom, one of the fastest drivers in the field today. Of course, Mad Trav, he has been in command of this race from lap 1. Pretty much really since qualifying, but Phantom has been one of the fast drivers. And look at Rai, looking on the inside.
Rai?
It's not really a place that you make a pass. Oh, and Rai, he slides, he spins. Does he save it?
Woo.
Yes, he does. He hangs on to it, but only just.
Drift points are plenty for Rai. If we were given giving them out, he'd get a lot of style points for that one. But unfortunately, contact further back than the halfway point on the car usually disadvantages the driver trying to make the attempt, and Rai just suffering for a slight lack of patience there, trying to get the job done in an unconventional position on the track. It didn't work out. Matty got back past Tiago on the lap previous, so they continue their battle, not really helping each other bring themselves towards the front of this race on those hard tyres they started on. And we've had pit stops from Calvin, from Noshumi, Hamrick, Duxter. I think that's it for scheduled pit stops and drivers still in the race. We are advised that we're getting some serious issues with PlayStation Network right now, and if memory serves me correctly, that wouldn't be the first time it's occurred on a Tuesday, Tim. So we may see drivers drop out as a result of that connection issue.
And that is unfortunate, because that can really, there's no really about it. It will ruin a driver's race if they have to drop out mid-race, and whether or not they can get back in. When you leave, the car goes into AI. The problem is the AI is so much slower than everyone else.
Yeah, so Tiago gets back past Matty. I think these two are in for a race-long battle between each other. Of course, they're on the same strategy, and they're just trying to minimize the time loss as they overtake each other lap after lap. So your order as we approach the 1/3 distance is Madtrav 2.3 seconds ahead of Phantom, Rai in third, Neil and Dom Rabico making a McLaren 4-5. Tiago and Matty we see on screen, then Noshumi, Calvin, Hamrick the top 10, Fudge is 11th, Duxter, Vino, Viking, and unfortunately it's Quintin's Ghost and Simps likewise ghosted in 15th and 16th. So we have 14 human drivers in charge of race cars on the track right now as we start lap 10 from Madtrav.
Madtrav very dominant just 2 laps ago. It was 1.6 seconds between him and Phantom. Now it has increased to 2.3 between the Mercedes and the Ferrari drivers, and very impressive indeed from Madtrav. Of course, that is no surprise to anyone. We were talking him up in qualifying, saying that where he won Monza, he has won multiple races this season, leading the points. It's looking like an easy day for him, but sometimes you got to think, just exactly how is it this easy, seemingly, for him?
Absolutely. I have heard he uses one assist, just ABS occasionally. I don't know if today is one of those occasions. Fudge just tried to make a move on Duxter that we saw on screen, and unfortunately almost a carbon copy of what we saw Rai do, trying a late lunge down the inside of turn 2 and got himself turned round into the infield and lost a huge amount of race track time. He's down in 12th, 5.3 seconds now fallen back from Duxter, and hoping to get himself back on terms with the Alpine driver as soon as possible. Hamrick, still your only penalised driver in the field, a 3-second track limits penalty. I think that won't be how the race ends, but we do tend to avoid track limits for the most part in the in this SAF1. It's a very high quality field. Madtrav still in the lead there, and I think is just holding that gap to Phantom and probably toying with the rest of the field at this point.
They're trying to scan the field, trying to find a way, trying to find any battle, really. And it looks like Duxter, he is getting a little bit closer to Hamrick just out of that final corner. But did you see the wiggle that Duxter and the Alpine had there? Just a huge wiggle out of that final corner. Hung on to it, though. A little bit further back, though, it does look like maybe Vino Ferril is starting to slowly creep in on Fudge there for the 12th position. Meanwhile, I do remember that Calvin Racing, who made a pit stop on those soft tires, he has found his way up into the 9th position now that he's on the medium tires, but that is in front of the battle that we're watching now with Duxter and Hamrick, who Duxter has gotten very much closer to Hamrick, which is Calvin's teammate, and he's going to have the DRS on him, but will he be able to get around him? He should theoretically be able to get around him, but who knows, maybe Hamrick's been able to save up some ERS and fight, but it's not going to be enough because there goes the Alpine around the Williams driver, making it look easy, and he clears him before they get to the chicane, but only just. So move Duxter up into the 10th position. Good
positive driving there, patient driving from Duxter, who only a lap ago was defending hard from Fudge, now on the attack. and gets up to P10. I do like it when we get a helicopter view of a on track battle. Pit stops at the front. Phantom, Rye, Neil and Don Rabico all in the pits. I was just about to say that the mediums would be nearing the end of their life, and Phantom and Neil, all the drivers going for hard tyres here, Tim, going for a one-stop strategy.
And it looks like that's going to definitely be the way to go. Of course, we knew that Don Rabico did not want to touch those soft tires today, so no surprise to anyone that he has went ahead to fit the hard tires on there. But beyond that, we're not really sure what the other drivers feel, but I think that we're now starting to learn, and not a single soft tire compound out there on track. And really the only way that we're going to see a soft tire compound come back out on the racetrack is if we get a safety car around lap 20.
Yeah, I see Neil closing in on the back of Schumi after coming out of the pits and has found himself within DRS range, which is a nice place to be. You don't want to be just outside of DRS range from another driver as you're trying to heat up your tyres, but he's got the DRS down the Mistral straight. A penalty for Vino, our second penalty to add up, but Neil just that little bit too far back, can afford to just wait.
And not Schumi, he spins!
Yeah. Just saw the tail end of that one. I don't know what caused it. It looked to be an unforced error, Tim.
Just a little too much curb it through the chicane, and Schumi turned the car around.
Well, that made life very easy for Neil and for Calvin, of course, who profits from that. So Neil up to P6 on new hard tyres. Let's see if the drivers... Hard tyres make an undercut quite difficult, but the undercut is powerful in Paul Ricard. So Matrav might be a little bit vulnerable here out there in the front. He's going into his 12th lap on the medium tyres. He's obviously managed to preserve them that little bit better than the second, third and fourth drivers. Another penalty dished out, and they're starting to come now that the drivers are reaching the end of their tyre life. Those medium runners struggling around there, Tim, trying to get to their pit stop.
Yeah, and as you said, with time penalties, we have 4 drivers with time penalties: Hammer, Duckster, Vino, as well as Fudge. All of them 3-second time penalties for multiple warnings, so that is exceeding track limits just one too many times. And, you know, whether or not it's justified, unfortunately, these drivers, they have to deal with it now.
Absolutely, yeah, especially if they get track limits or penalties before their pit stop. They have to live with it. Matty, I thought he was going to drop back here from... I thought Rye was going to drop back from Matty, but it looks like Rye staying with him up here in P5, challenging for 4th on the Red Bull driven by Matty here. I do tend to see Matty in a Williams, so a little bit unusual as Rye goes up the inside as they go towards Sanya and successfully passed. I've not seen a successful move there yet tonight, and that was a good one from Rye.
Yeah, and Rye, I'm actually very impressed by this Haas driver. He has got some decent speed around the circuit today, and he could very much be on for a podium, and he is using those fresh, hard tires to his advantage, and I'm very surprised, actually, that he was able to not only get by Matty, but put as much distance as he has been able to between the two in just these, few corners that he's been able to have the position on him.
We have a pit stop for Matrav on his way out of the pits, and successfully having built the gap, he's pitted and rejoined and stayed in first place. So looking to lead every single lap tonight, Tim. That's pretty impressive.
And you know what? If he can do it, then I say congratulations to him. And it looks like so far that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my live chat has died on my stream. Getting notifications, more comments are coming in, but I'm not seeing them yet. So Phantom closing in on his teammate, needs his teammate to let him by comfortably and then hold up Wright, who's closing from behind here, as those pit stops really started to spice up the racing, Tim. So we've got some much closer battles, which is great.
And this is really good, actually, for Diego Maestro. However, he did start on the hard tire, so he still does have to make a pit stop. But still, it is a good track position for him, and this is about the time that you're going to see those hard tires really come into play. So I'd say that he is going to try the one stop, but obviously the reverse strategy to what most other drivers have done. So we are going to see soft compound tires maybe on the Ferrari here soon. But if you look down there in 16th, the AI of Sims has unfortunately fitted the soft compound tires, so his race going even worse. I mentioned that we wouldn't see any soft compound tires until later on in the race, but the AI makes a liar out of me now.
Well, I think that's you can get a pass for that one. That's that's just the AI making AI decisions. That's thanks Jeff, I think, on that one. It looks like Neil getting past Matty comfortably under DRS as Rai was fighting with Thiago, but no luck just yet getting by. But yeah, Neil up to P5.
And DRS Neil, you know, pretty much he has lived in P5 this entire race, you know, and qualifying. You know, because DRS Neil, he was 5th place in at least 2 out of the 3 qualifying sessions, and now he finds himself 5th place in the race, a possible top 5 finish, maybe a 5th place finish. So maybe DRS Neil, if Sebastian Vettel ever retires, which I hope he does not, maybe he needs to change his number to number 5.
Well, I'm a Red 5 fan, not Vettel, but Nigel Mansell. We have, oh wow, Thiago struggling. And yeah, there he goes, spinning the car. He's now needing to reverse, can't spin turn the car comfortably in front of everybody. We've got a controversial opinion and the start of possibly a rivalry between Kimi and the whole of the Ferrari team, it seems, in the live chat. He's not impressed with the Ferrari team tonight, so a grudge beginning, but Thiago spinning under defence from Rai around the outside. Rai went around the outside of chicane du Nord on the first part, got the inside in the second part, and Kimi just trying to hold on too long, you think, Tim?
I don't know. I did not see what happened with Kimi and the Ferrari, so I'm going to have to wait and see footage. Yeah,
we will wait for any steward findings. Of course, we'll let you know if the race result is affected. But unfortunately, if Thiago's been turned round, a penalty for Rai will not improve his finishing position. So such is motor racing. Unfortunately, there's very few ways in which we can punish the driver who actually succeeds in getting another driver off the track. Here comes Duckster past Hamrick. Hamrick flailing around somewhat, although I think the connection can be blamed for that. Duckster making yet another pass. Oh, big tail happy moment on the way out of turn 2, but holds it, manages to keep some speed and actually profited out of that one. So maybe a line to follow, a little bit of a drift on the way out of the corner, and he starts to gap Hamrick, who's struggling now on those medium tyres. Same life as Duckster, thereabouts anyway. Looks like maybe Don Rabico and Schumi chasing Calvin. It looks to be our best battle to watch right now.
Yeah, and they were stuck in the DRS train down the straightaway, so Calvin, Don Rabico, not Schumi. It's going to be a bit of a frustrating race for them. I hate to say for their sake, but maybe one of them can find a way around them. Calvin, eventually those medium tires will wear out, as well as on not Schumi's, where Don Rabico, he's actually in a nice place, because here in about we'll say 5-6 laps or so, I think it's when those hard tires are really going to set in. Of course, with the hard tires being, as suggested, the harder compound of tires, it takes a lot longer to get the temperature needed into those tires to really give them pace.
Interestingly, Matty only making it to lap 17 on the hard tires and has now pitted, so could be seeing much greater tyre wear. Perhaps the second piece of evidence slotting into place for that particular idea. So Matty now pitting with 10 laps remaining. I wonder if that will mean forced onto the mediums. Yes, he is. I don't think you're going to get 10 laps out of the soft tyres at the end of the race. So interesting to see that take place. He should be fast now, though, relative to the front of the field.
And, you know, sadly for Matty, I'd say that he probably just couldn't hang on to his tires. If he had been able to stay out there for maybe 2 or 3 more laps, I think the soft tires would be a viable option, as we got Don Rabico battling hard with Calvin Racing, but ultimately had to back out of it going into the chicane. But I think that the soft tires could have been a viable option if he had stayed out another 2 or 3 laps, because with less fuel in the car at this point, they will degrade slightly slower, but only slightly, as Don Rabico is able to successfully make a move on Calvin. Calvin goes wide, tries to give Don Rabico some room, and now Calvin's going to try to go back on the inside, but has to back out of it. Don Rabico gave him room, but only enough room, and somehow Calvin managed to avoid contact.
Absolutely. I hope no one's too attached to that braking marker board on the outside of Debose, because it's gone now, and in comes Calvin from 9 laps on the medium. Might be a fresh set of mediums, might be 2 stopping this one to the end of the race. So Don Rabico, not Schumi, profiting from that. Neil in 4th, Don in 5th, Schumi in 6th. Calvin in the pits and should come out in front of Thiago, I would imagine. Mad Trav put a fastest lap on the board and is now extending that gap. He's 4.5 seconds ahead in the lead, but we'll keep track and try to make sure there's plenty of battles up and down the grid. Not Shumi versus Don Rabico looks to be the latest one, as we see Matty come out of the pits in P9. Sorry, he hasn't pitted again, has he? No, it was Calvin pitting. Excuse me. So, not Shumi, 3/4 of a second behind Don Rabico and consolidating and getting closer and closer, but it won't be this time into Chicane du Nord, Tim.
No, it won't. I'd say that it's very frustrating for Not Shumi to have to watch that car, you know, just drive away. And with 11 laps on the medium tires, if you have guys pitting after 10 laps on the medium tires, then just the fact that Not Shumi is still in the DRS range of Don Rabico says something about the pace that he has around here. And with Don Rabico, he definitely chose the best strategy, the medium to hard strategy, and with only 6 laps on those hard tires, and with, I'd say it's looking like 9 laps left in the race, Don Rabico's tires can only get better from here.
Yep, absolutely. If Shumi can hold on, I was going to say if he can hold on, he'll get soft tyres on. But it looks like we've got 8 laps to run, which is right on the limit of the soft tyre life if you're a particularly gentle driver. So we'll see what he chooses here. Will he be someone who manages to stretch those mediums? Yes, he's gone for softs. He's gambling it and see if he can get that full life out of the soft tyres up to 8 laps. And where will this pit stop leave him exiting the pits? He's currently in 8th. Will he get out in front of Matty? No. So Matty on the mediums, well bedded in, well up to temperature, as well as Calvin, who should be quick. So the ones to watch, 8th, 9th, 10th, as they finish off this race. Quintin's AI has pitted on 17 laps on the medium, so the AI obviously driving pretty well on those tyres.
Somehow, but unfortunately for Quintin, though, he cannot get in his car, so he cannot override that decision and go for the better one. Of course, at this point, you know, as we've said, this is the best option. Not Shumi pitting just right there at the window for those soft tires. If he'd have been able to stay out for an extra lap, maybe it would have been beneficial to him, but I can only imagine what those medium tires could be feeling like. But I'd say that Not Shumi's going to have no problems getting to the end because, as I said, with the lesser fuel load, that will help the tire degradation some. It's not going to be a drastic change, but it's not unrealistic to expect at least an extra lap.
Yeah, I fully agree. It looks like Rai is building a challenge on Phantom yet again. The second time these cars will encounter each other on the track tonight. And we know that Rai managed to get past Phantom successfully once, so let's see if he can do it again. Slip back through the pit stop window, I think, but closing in, trying to get within DRS, but it's just tantalizingly close, but too far away at this stage. He's trying.
And Duckster, he's decided to pit after 14 laps on the medium tires, likely going to be going on the soft tires. He is. So Duckster going to the end on soft tires. The question is, will he be able to get into the top 10? It's going to be very close for him.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, no, it won't actually, because his teammate, Vino for Real, has actually pitted, so Duckster will exit the pits in the 10th position, and I believe that he should be good for a top 10 finish today.
Well, let's see how this one shakes out. Of course, we've got the graining phase, the high deg cliff edge phase of the race to go for some of these drivers. Thiago will be nearing the end of these hard tyres. I'm as certain as I can be he won't see the end of the race on this one, on this set. I think he'll have to pit, but maybe he's a tyre magician.
But however, he did start on the hard tires, so he needs to pit, otherwise he will be disqualified.
Did he start on the hards? Because he's 2 laps less. Yep, correct. No, you're right. He hasn't pitted yet. Wow. Okay. Wondering why he has 19 laps on the hards, but the race is 21 laps old so far. An interesting readout there. Not Shumi, 1/3 of a second back from Calvin, and Not Shumi. We're starting to see the early bite in those soft tyres, really bringing up towards the Williams driver, as Rai cannot get on terms with Phantom still. So maybe Phantom was just bedding in. Here comes Not Shumi on the inside of the Williams. Oh, we've seen accidents here already tonight, and he just gave up that move for the edge with the fastest lap for Not Shumi on these softs. Diving down the inside into turn 3 again, having to back out of it. He's obviously being quite circumspect, but not getting the job done. Has he stayed close enough, Tim, to make a challenge into the chicane?
I think so. He's got those soft tires. He definitely has the speed advantage, but Calvin, he is looking very quickly, but oh, here goes Natsumi. He's going to be very close. It might be side by side, but Natsumi does clear him just before the chicane. So the Aston Martin moves up into the 8th position, so Calvin Racing has to yet again trail a car while running in 9th.
Indeed, so we have Natsumi up to P8. Just needing to temporarily check his mirrors on the way into Sanya, but this next sector should help him gap the medium shod car behind him, at least for a few laps, until those soft tyres start to degrade. This is the closest battle we have on the track with 5 to go. Mad Trav leads by 6.4 seconds from Phantom. Rai is in 3rd, just outside of DRS range. Then Neil and Don Rabico, the McLaren pair, together in the standings, far apart on the track. Then Tiago finally pits on lap 22, so he have a real sprint at the end of this one. He was hoping for a safety car, I think, to get him into contention. Matty with a really strong race in P6. Then Not Shumi, Calvin. Tiago still hasn't come out of the pits yet, but I think he will rejoin just ahead of Duxter. I think it's going to be close though. Let's see that one. Yeah, he just gets out there in front, and Duxter in 10th makes out your points. Traditional points finishes, of course. Everybody gets points in SAF1.
That they do. And so far it's looking like a lot of drivers are going to be getting those extra 2 bonus points for finishing the race. Of course, it's not over yet. Lap 22 of 27, and just trying to find any battle here. But looks like, oh, Natsumi making a move on Matty going into the chicane. So Natsumi really moving forward on those soft tires. Definitely the way to go, at least for the time being. Very curious to see, though, when those tires start to fall off, if Natsumi will put enough gap between him and the cars behind him. But Calvin Racing with Matty here might actually give Natsumi a little bit of a breather up there, because Calvin, he is really wanting to make a position on Matty, and he's going to look on the inside. Oh, and it's going to be a side-by-side battle. Almost some contact, but they both avoid it. Good driving from them both.
Fantastic driving. Good track positioning from both of them. Calvin knew the inevitability of Matty trying to take the outside line, the racing line there, and left enough room for Matty to hold on. Matty trying to use the middle of the road here, but I'm not sure he's quite going to have enough to hold off Calvin at this point. He's also derating in the first quarter of the start-finish straight, so Calvin with DRS just can't close that start-finish straight, Tim. Just not really long enough to make a move.
No, it's not, unfortunately, but maybe someone is going to be able to be a little bit opportunistic and make a move there and get it done cleanly, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, Hamrick was able to do that at the beginning of this race without DRS, so it has been done. It's just very difficult.
Yeah, I think you're kind of relying on someone making a mistake ahead of you in the final corner, or having a moment in traction. Here comes Calvin to the outside then of Matty. Comfortable overtake. These two drivers fighting on relatively equal terms. Natsumi continuing to try and get away from these guys. Vino has retired from the session. Vino on track or in the pits. He's gone in the pits, thankfully. So Vino will not trigger us a caution period, as we still have, I think, 13 human drivers left in the race. And Quentin's car temporarily, I think, got the fastest lap at one point. It's now riding with Duxter, who will get that extra point if he holds on to it.
Just still locked on this battle between Calvin and Matty. I think that Matty might be able to have a bit of a lunge on Calvin going into turn number 1, but he's going to have to get a fantastic exit out of this final corner, and Calvin got a better exit than Matty did. And I think that Calvin still does have maybe some DRS on Natsumi, but as we get closer, I actually do notice that the wing is closed, so not close enough for Calvin. But Matty, he had a lunge, he just could not complete it, like you said, just not quite long enough that straightaway. Yeah,
it looks like the lapped car getting out of the way. Rai has started to close within range here as well for that second position tonight. although he has a penalty, so it may be a hiding to nothing unless he can force a track limit error out of Phantom if he piles on the pressure towards the end here. Now 3/10 away from second place. They're coming up on some lapped traffic as well, which could cause an issue.
And it's the side-by-side battle between Maddie and Calvin. There was some contact, but Calvin was able to get around Maddie, only just.
I keep cutting away from the wrong battle because the gaps are so tight between these two battles we currently have on track. Matty trying that inside move. It's not going to happen there. What about Rye? Can he get close enough into turn one? Not quite. We'll go back to Matty and Calvin though and see them through the first straight as they finish out this 24th lap for them. 25th has been started by Matrav, who is 7.9 seconds in the lead of this race currently.
All coming down to the wire, at least for everyone except Matrav, who is pretty much just been in command of this race. He just needs to make a handful of clean laps, which he has done all day long, and he will be the winner of the French Grand Prix. Maddie losing a little bit of ground to Calvin Racing through turn number 2, used a little too much curb, had just a slight bit more rotation than what he needed. Not exactly a slide or a spin, just you could tell he had to back off the throttle a little bit, just getting a little too much, too tail happy with that Red Bull.
Yeah, Rye almost running into the back of Phantom as they approach Debose, the double right-hander at the extreme south of the circuit. I think he's going to be able to challenge, if not down the start-finish straight, then into the Chicane du Nord on the next lap as Matrav circulates and starts his penultimate lap now. It's just 2 complete laps to run. Phantom knows he's under threat and starts the weaving around the straight here. Rye, though, of course, still has that DRS. Probably won't make a move. He feinted a move to the inside. I don't think that was serious. I think that was just designed to make Phantom go offline, but it didn't work.
I think you need to have a backup plan, though, in case it does work.
Yeah, definitely. It's tricky. You've always got to try and pile the pressure on the driver in front, but of course you're using up your tyres and affecting your own run through the next 2 corners if you go offline. Here we go then, down the Mistral straight. Will Rye get Phantom? I think he will, quite comfortably. Rye makes a move. I hate the cameras at this track, Tim, especially at Chicane du Nord. It's so difficult to see a battle actually come to a conclusion down there.
Oh, I know the feeling. I know the feeling all too well, Webo. But Rye, he has been able to, as you said, get around Phantom. So now Rye up there in the second position, but he does have a time penalty. 3 seconds belonging to the Haas car. 3 seconds belonging to Neil back there in 5th as well. A lot of time penalties just outside the top 5 for those drivers. So the lineup is going to be a little bit shook at the end.
Yeah, well, we'll do a tactical delay on announcing some of these penalised drivers. I think Rye's going to struggle to put 2.5 seconds on Phantom in a single lap here, although he may get DRS from the lapped car ahead. Rye is very much on the defensive as Matrav has started his final lap, 9 seconds clear of the field at this point. I wonder if he'll be going for one of those late race fastest laps. He's driving clean, as is Phantom, Don Ravico, not Schumi and Calvin. Quintin, obviously, his AI has not run foul of track limits. So Phantom, go ahead.
And this really is a nice battle between Rye and Phantom, even though it's the last lap. And, there's no way that Rye is going to be able to get 3 seconds ahead of Phantom in what we have remaining. So Phantom is going to have to make a mistake if Rye is going to hang on to that second position, as DRS Neil has got another 3-second time penalty from multiple warnings. But here comes Phantom looking underneath Rye, but he also knows that there's really no reason that he needs to pass. If he can, sure, but don't make a risk, because you have a podium regardless. You have second place right now as long as you stay within 3 seconds.
Definitely. We'll see them into Sanya, but we must see Matrav finish off this race. He has been in command, and I hope he'll forgive us for not paying him a great deal of attention through the race. It's been a race for the rest of the grid, but for Matrav, it's only been an exhibition event, just showing how very masterful he is at multiple tracks through this race. Madtrav wins the French Grand Prix and takes a huge step forward in the championship, even in as far into this championship as we are in round 5. Rai will cross the line, but it will be Phantom who gets the second step on the podium, and Rai third place. A very strong drive from the Haas driver. Just that track limit penalty separating him and Phantom at the end. Don Rabico will cross the line cleanly in fourth, and Neil, I think, no, I'm not sure Neil will even hold on to this position, Tim. Let's see them cross the line.
It's going to be close, but I think that Natsumi will be able to jump Neil, and he does.
Wow.
Yes, he does.
1/10 of a second, and it was so close that the car following him, Calvin, did not jump Neil, so it was that close. Very good to see it run so close there. I'm sure Calvin was watching that delta. Neil with the fastest lap of the race, as long as Duxter or Thiago don't better that, and Duxter does not. Thiago gets ahead of him. P9 for the Ferrari driver. Double points finish for Ferrari tonight, double points for McLaren, but Mercedes taking home the lion's share. Fudge will cross the line and finish this race, and everybody else, I believe, has been lapped. And that was your French Grand Prix. We'll see the Driver of the Day award shortly. I don't know if you have a nomination. Matty is given the official one here. Tim, you can either, if you've got an idea now, say so. If not, be ready. I'm not ready to declare mine just yet. But the Mercedes driver Madtrav yet again on top.
I think I'll be fair. I think I'm just going to go ahead and give it to Matty. He did have a decent drive today, and that was starting from what I believe the very last position.
It was. I think I'd honestly agree with you. He's as you know, I've watched a lot of Matty's races recently, but I think this is a very good, strong result for him, and Driver of the Day would be a nice reward for his hard work. Take us through the final standings, would you please, Tim?
And the winner of the French Grand Prix, of course, Madtrav in the Mercedes. No surprise to anyone, an absolute dominant force today. Phantom in second with Rai in third. Don Rabico in fourth. A fantastic result for the McLaren driver, going from the medium to the hards. Natsumi in the fifth position. DRS Neil in sixth. Seventh is Calvin. Matty in eighth. Ninth is Diego Maestro. So a good rebound for him after a late spin. Duxter in 10th. 11th is Fudge. 12th is Hamrick. 13th is Quentin. Royal Viking in 14th. 15th is Simps, and then 16th is Vino for real with Kimmy, and 17th and Xander in the 18th position.
Fantastic stuff. We've really enjoyed our French Grand Prix. I'm sure we will enjoy a couple of weeks off. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel, and you will of course find make sure that you will be notified the second we come back online for the next round 6 in the championship. We'll have a couple of weeks break, but we'll be back with you very soon. We've suffered through some technical difficulties tonight. I know a number of drivers will be needing to go on to their next races, or their next appointments at least, and I'm fairly similar myself. Tim, we're going to say good night to everyone on the stream, but any closing words or remarks about the race overall?
Well, I think it was a fantastic race around the Paul Ricard circuit, and very tight racing. Of course, you're always going to get that in SAF1. These drivers, they are just amazing to watch. They are, I would say, some of the fastest drivers that I have had the pleasure to commentate on. And, congratulations to Matty on the Driver of the Day. Congratulations to Madtrav on his win, and to the podium finishers, because really it was a tough-fought race from lap 1 to the final lap.
Yeah, couldn't say it better myself. Thanks to everybody for watching, for staying with us, and for liking the video, of course, as well. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at WebORed5. I'm also accepting bookings for next season. If you're interested, hit me up on Twitter, and you'll see when I go live as well. I'm due a rest. I'm due a break. 151 races this year, and that will do me for now. Tim, I know you're next online tomorrow night, I understand.
Yes, for Speed Force Racing, the GP2 Series, and then, of course, on Thursday, the final race of the Invictus Racing League's PlayStation Performance League.
Fantastic. Well, make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow Tim's output as well as mine, and we will catch you all on the next race day.